Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. MALLOR GRODNER Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. In most counties, things are gradually starting to reopen. But Cass, Marion, Lake, and Monroe counties are taking a little more time to see how coronavirus numbers trend over the next week or so. Ahead, what authority do local communities have to extend stay-at-home orders? And some school districts are about to adjourn for summer break. Now the work begins to figure out what next school year will look like.
Here's a big ball of mud. Everyone's kind of holding it, but now we've got to form it, tweak it.
Grocery store workers are essential during the pandemic, but their union says the state isn't doing enough to keep them safe.
Grocery workers in particular are still interacting with a lot of people from the public.
Those stories, plus much more, right now on Indiana Newsdesk.
Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. A research model used by the White House has increased predicted COVID-19 deaths in Indiana, raising the number by more than 5,000. The model was created by the Institute for Health Measurements and Evaluation at the University of Washington. Its initial projection, published April 29th, was 1,000 people. Its new projections anticipate more than 6,000 Hoosiers will die of the virus May 4th through August. The increase in predicted deaths is the second highest in the country. Indiana's State Health Commissioner, Dr. Chris Bach, says there are reasons Hoosiers will be affected more than other states by the virus.
Our overall health metrics as a state for things like smoking, diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity are higher than many other states. And those are the risk factors for severe illness from COVID-19.
One of the creators of the model, Chris Murray, says the predicted death increase is a reflection of the state's relaxation of stay-at-home orders. Factors that influence the model include current state COVID-19 cases and death inputs. Well, some businesses are starting to reopen, albeit with capacity limitations, and travel restrictions are easing in parts of the state. But this weekend will be the real test. Places of worship are allowed to resume regular services.
Governor Eric Holcomb says he thought churches would be the most responsible group to let fully reopen.
But I did say that we needed those church leaders to be responsible for their congregations.
Holcomb adds that what happens with those houses of worship and their impact on COVID-19 cases will inform the state going forward.
If we can manage this, this gives us a lot of confidence in some other arenas as well.
The governor hopes to continue easing restrictions over the coming weeks and fully reopen the state by July 4th. But Holcomb did give authority to cities to work on their own timeline. Cass, Lake, Marion, and Monroe counties aren't easing their stay-at-home order just yet.
Under the U.S. Constitution's 10th Amendment, the state is granted the ability to protect the health, safety, and welfare of its citizens. UMauer School of Law professor Jody Madeira says for many people, this is the first time they've seen the Constitution enforced this way.
I think the culture of claiming individual rights there's been an important truth that's been lost there, and that's with constitutional rights comes responsibilities.
The section of the state law cited in the order says a public health authority can do a lot of things, including closing schools, athletic events, and other non-essential situations in which people gather. Madeira says the important thing for local authorities to remember when they're enforcing health guidelines is they need to treat all businesses in similar ways. State and local leaders and health officials say they're basing their decisions about restrictions and reopenings on data. Joining me on air now is Graham McKean. Graham, thanks for being on the show. There's so many different data sets, numbers of new cases, hospitalizations, people tested. From your perspective in public health, what should we be looking at to determine if it's safe to start easing some of these restrictions?
I think some of the more important metrics, and the data, of course, is only as good as what you can measure. And so, as we increase testing and the ability to do contact tracing, I think we can maybe begin to look at some other metrics. And I think some key ones are seeing a reduction in the percentage of positive cases, as well as we'd like to see that 14-day decline in cases. Now, the state is using a metric of declining hospitalization rates. And luckily our surge capacity is still available. We haven't overwhelmed our hospital systems, but the federal guidance is based on that 14-day decline, and we just are not really seeing that yet domestically and here in Indiana.
Though, are we testing enough people to get accurate numbers about total infections? Like, is there a magic number of people that we should be testing?
Based on some global health research from Harvard, they say Indiana probably needs about a minimum of about 6,600 tests or so. The last week or so, we're starting to get there. We're 4,000, 4,500 or so. And the good thing is the state has made some great investments in our ability to get back to containment. This contract with OptumServe to do testing, and this contract with Maximus to do contact tracing. Now, while those investments have been made, those things are not fully operational yet. So the other thing to consider, as we increase testing, we're all going to also see an increase in cases. So how do we manage that? And so it's probably going to blend into some other metric that we look for as we go forward. But the big thing is getting these things in place to do containment.
How about the timeline? What does that look for infections? We saw that earlier in the show. We talked about the White House model predicts some 6,000 Hoosiers will die between now and August. Will that be the end, or is there likely to be a second wave, as we've heard, maybe this winter?
I think most experts agree that we will see some sort of wave, and a lot of these respiratory viruses are seasonal. Now, it showed up in the U.S. kind of at the end of our flu season, but we do expect to have some type of concurrent flu and COVID season. Now, these estimates that we're seeing, a lot of those are changing and increasing due to these restrictions easing in terms of stay-at-home orders and physical distancing.
We just have about 30 seconds left. We talk about a little bit about the economy been devastated by the shutdown. We've gotten a number of questions into our newsroom asking if everyone wore masks and practice social distancing. Could we reopen businesses now?
That would certainly help, but you really want to have those other containment measures in place. And so I just think we're a few weeks away from able to do that, and it might take a few weeks for those things to kind of formalize. So the big thing is if we can get about 80% or more of us to wear masks, then we can really reduce the reproductive rate of the disease.
All right, Graham, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, across the state, there are pockets where local COVID-19 infections are much higher than the state average. As we've reported, that's the case in Cass County and Decatur County, among others. The latest state coronavirus numbers indicate almost 45% of those tested in Bartholomew County are positive for the virus. The Indiana Department of Health lists Bartholomew County with 316 cases out of 706 tested. But Columbus Mayor Jim Linnop says the numbers are hard to track.
And the number that CRH tells me has been tested is well over 2,000. And once you get to there, then the number of positives begins to make some sense. That number seems right to me.
He says some of the inconsistency is due to tracking of people who may work in Bartholomew County but live in another county. Linnop says county officials are following the governor's reopening plan unless numbers from Columbus Regional Health show something different. Testing did open Wednesday at the Armory on the airport grounds in Columbus. Grocery store employee workers are among the groups of essential workers lauded for being on the front lines during the coronavirus pandemic. But as Adam Pinsker tells us, one of the unions representing these employees wants state leaders to do more to support these workers.
For 20-year Kroger veteran Juan Ruffin, life has only gotten busier since the coronavirus pandemic began.
It never even came across to us that, until we started seeing numbers, that this is really a pandemic, and we're risking our lives to make sure everybody can eat.
Kroger employees received a $2 per hour emergency raise at the end of March, but the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, which represents 14,000 grocery store workers in Indiana, says more can be done to take care of its members. The union is asking Governor Eric Holcomb to designate these workers as first responders during the crisis.
Give them preference for personal protective equipment. And we know it's in high demand and in short supply, but grocery workers in particular are still interacting with a lot of people from the public.
So far, Governor Holcomb's office has not given that designation to Kroger workers in Indiana. Other neighboring states have taken different measures to protect grocery store workers. Kentucky's governor signed a bill extending workers' compensation to grocery store workers who contract COVID-19. Illinois granted discount and/or free child care to people who work in grocery stores, and Michigan's governor signed a provision barring essential employees from coming into work if they show signs of sickness.
It just says, look, these people are on the front lines and they are doing services that are imperative to keeping our communities running.
Kroger has taken a few steps of its own, requiring workers to wear masks and capping the number of people allowed to be in the store at one time. But Ruffin says that one-size-fits-all approach doesn't always work.
That they want half capacity, but that's how we run anyway. So it really doesn't seem like it's helping by limiting the amount of people because we're never at capacity.
Ruffin says one of his co-workers at his North Indianapolis store tested positive for coronavirus early on in the pandemic, forcing the store to close for a few hours while it was cleaned.
I wasn't concerned personally because I'm really cautious by nature. So it really didn't concern me because I do all the necessary things. Because I'm a butcher, we have to be sanitary.
Bridget Kelly says customers can continue to play a role in helping grocery store workers stay safe if they have to shop during the pandemic.
We're encouraging customers to keep 2 cart lengths in between them and observe social distancing while they're shopping, to send one person to the store as much as possible.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.
In Logansport, the Tyson meatpacking plant is reopened. After a 2-week shutdown, the facility resumed limited operations Thursday. More than 1,000 COVID-19 cases have been traced to the plant. New precautions at the plant include employee temperature checks, mandatory COVID-19 testing, social distancing, and a requirement that all workers wear protective face coverings. Indiana state Democrats say that without accountability, the state's workplace safety guidelines around COVID-19 fall short. Senate Minority Leader Tim Lannon says as workers are getting called back, many are not being provided with PPE and they're being put in positions where they can't maintain social distancing. Lannon says the governor's office needs to pressure IOSHA to enforce health guidelines.
They only have the resources to make sure that IOSHA is doing the job, number one. Number two, that this equipment is available to workers.
Governor Eric Holcomb's latest executive order directs IOSHA to take all available administrative or enforcement action against workplaces that don't keep workers safe. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. What have we learned about education during a pandemic? School districts are taking stock of how things have gone and what needs to improve in case remote learning continues into next school year. And gyms, basketball courts, and playgrounds are closed, but golf courses are open. Ahead, the modifications they've made to keep players safe. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
In a time of change, where can you find in-depth reporting and thoughtful analysis? Washington Week on PBS. Join moderator Robert Costa.
When I was at the Capitol this week, I encountered the same.
And a panel of award-winning journalists.
You're seeing a divided nation and you're seeing...
For insights and perspective.
Tonight there was a key development in the
Senate. You won't find anywhere else.
What a week.
Washington Week.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Well, it's been almost 2 months since the governor shut down schools to help slow the spread of the coronavirus. Originally, it was through May 1st, but later the governor extended it through the end of the year.
Let's face it, some of our classrooms can be like petri dishes. That's always just been a fact. We can't deny the facts of the world we live in today, right now. And so the last thing that we want to do is kid ourselves about our kids' health and safety.
The burden fell on teachers and parents to figure out how to continue educating students, and they had to figure it out quickly. The school year is wrapping up now, and as Mitch Legan reports, districts are shifting their focus to the fall and trying to come up with a plan for what it might look like.
Prior to March, only a quarter of Indiana's 291 school districts had used any form of e-learning. It's been an adjustment for Monroe County School Corporation teacher Jenny Noble-Kuchera.
Are you tired of e-learning?
You know, there are silver linings. I will look forward to seeing kids again.
For the last 2 months, one of Noble-Kuchera's bookcases acted as a desk, while a corner of her attic became a classroom for students for whom English is a new language.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Aiken.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Now, many students are finishing up their first taste of e-learning. That is, the ones who participated.
The first week out, participation was really high. Kids were interested. It was quirky, it was different, it was new. And the second week of e-learning, we all saw a kind of a drop, a kind of a dip. I think they just felt tired of doing it the new way.
The district went with an electronic contingency learning plan, and it's gotten them through the end of the school year. The governor shaved 20 days off the school year, so MCCSC's last day was yesterday. Looking ahead to the fall, parents, teachers, and students alike will tell you the district's e-learning plan needs some work.
Probably we had approximately 9-10 days to pull everything together. I would say under those circumstances, we've done remarkably well. Our teachers have gone above and beyond. They've stepped up. They've tried to find creative, flexible, innovative ways to engage our students.
For this semester, MCCSC's grades were based on work finished before spring break and couldn't drop below that level. So if students were already doing well, they didn't have a ton of incentive to participate. Winston says she doesn't have numbers on participation rates for the school district yet. They'll be available after administrators, teachers, and families spend the next couple weeks debriefing over what worked and what didn't, and what needs to change if schools aren't open in the fall.
And ultimately, the direction that we will take will be from the governor, from the state superintendent of public education here in Indiana, and then of course from our health department. I mean, all of that information will be taken into consideration.
During a virtual webinar with school leaders, State Superintendent Jennifer McCormick said guidance the department is working on will include tight health restrictions whenever schools do reopen to students and staff. But for the most part, school districts will be responsible for their own learning plans.
We know for some of the health issues, you need really tight guidance because you are not health experts. But for the curriculum and instruction, it is so localized that you needed some flexibility there.
Winston says the academic plan for next year will also be a product of the next couple weeks. And one of the biggest questions is what to do with a group of students who've essentially missed a quarter of school.
Most of them will be ready, and the ones that aren't, we've done a little bit of detective work to figure out what specific areas they're going to need a little extra skill support in. Out of 11 first graders, 10 are doing great. So my other little guy is just kind of on the struggle bus.
Noble-Kuchera says teachers will discuss vertically aligning their classes, where fourth grade teachers would meet with fifth grade teachers and discuss what they covered well and what might need some work.
There might be some gaps. And you guys are going to have to pick that up a little bit at the start of next year. For some kids who got this skill while learning online, great. It's a little bit of review for them, and they can do a sort of accelerated version. For kids who didn't pick up this skill yet, even though it was a fourth grade, we call it essential learning, fifth grade teachers are just going to have to pick that up.
While state leaders discuss how to best reopen schools, local districts will determine the best ways to improve in-class and e-learning. There are still questions about access, though. Not every student can get online easily, and many of the online resources teachers were using were made free because of the pandemic, and they won't be free forever.
What schooling is going to look like in the fall. As of this moment in time, we don't yet know, but we are actively engaged in conversations to begin that planning process.
The governor says the state will decide in July how and when to bring kids back to school. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
As Indiana begins to slowly reopen, cities and towns are counting on economic activity returning. Experts say some communities are primed for a faster recovery than others. Brock Turner has more.
With businesses closed, assembly lines halted, and the majority of people staying at home, communities across the state are reeling to try and figure out how to adapt to the new normal. 57,000 Hoosiers were among the 3.8 million Americans who filed for unemployment last week.
It was pretty easy for everybody to shut down once we realized how much of a crisis COVID was. Just turning off the switch wasn't very challenging once the NBA and others kind of made it easy for government and businesses. But starting up is going to be a lot harder. So keep that in mind. And thus, we're not going to be able to start up anywhere near as fast as we shut down.
That's Drew Classic, a senior policy analyst at Indiana University's Public Policy Institute. It's a group that helps advise government officials on best practices. Times like these are difficult for everyone, and the data is scarce. But data that is available paints a grim picture for many communities. Unemployment claims across the state and country have skyrocketed in recent weeks. An estimated 17% of Indiana's labor force has now filed for unemployment.
Although we're seeing a high number of claims being filed, we're also seeing a high rate of payments being made. We're making record number of unemployment benefits payments.
However, Classic believes the data points to less of an urban and rural divide and is more indicative of the share of a community's jobs that are deemed essential or have the capability to work from home. These fundamentals, he says, can also determine how quickly a community can get back up and running.
It's not going to look the same everywhere. And I think that's true because there's really two pieces to the recovery. One is, what were your pre-COVID market fundamentals, so to speak, right? How well were you doing? What is your local economy made up of?
But Classic believes there are reasons to be hopeful. For one, Indiana has one of the nation's largest rainy day funds. But besides that, Classic says there very well could be a push to support increasing broadband connectivity, shifting supply chains to more domestic production, and placing a greater emphasis on better pay for essential workers on the front lines. He says each of those could be an overall positive for communities across the state. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
To make matters worse for local governments, many are expected to lose significant revenues from a loss of local sales tax. That can make it difficult to build the infrastructure investments that could kickstart their economies. It's unclear when more money from state and federal governments will be made available. Well, golf courses have remained open throughout the coronavirus pandemic. As Ethan Burks reports, a lot of local courses were able to easily implement new social distance requirements to make sure players stay safe.
When word came that golf courses were staying open, Cascades in Bloomington had to make a few safety adjustments to better protect golfers.
And we removed all the bunker rakes, removed the ball washers, and we were still getting into the season, so it was pretty easy for people to adjust to.
As a public course owned by the city, Craig says these new safety guidelines were especially important for everyone's overall health.
One of the biggest ones was to be a little more hands-free on the golf course.
Craig says in order to do this, all golf courses now prohibit players from touching the flag sticks. So one precaution that golf courses are taking to ensure everyone's safe is that when players hit the ball into the hole, they have foam inserts so that players can bend over, pick up the ball, and move on to the next hole without having to touch the flag stick. Another looming issue was the use of golf carts. Craig says they banned carts and limited players to walking only to protect golfers and so employees wouldn't have to clean the carts and potentially put themselves at risk.
All the golf courses were doing the same thing, so it wasn't that we were doing anything different or special versus another golf course.
Craig says they're going to begin easing some of the restrictions this weekend. They're starting with bringing back carts, but with limitations.
Single use unless you're in the same household. So obviously spouses can ride together, or a father-son or father-daughter.
While many businesses felt an immediate burden when the coronavirus pandemic began, Craig says the course pretty much saw the same number of golfers, probably even a slight increase.
I feel like people have a little more time on their hands, and instead of being cooped up, they're able to come play golf in a safe manner because of social distancing. You know, we've got 130 acres. It's easy to spread out.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Burks.
And finally, check out what Brown County High School is doing to celebrate its seniors. The school honored each of its 150 graduates with a special sign and placed them around the track. Like schools across the country, commencement was postponed here. The district is doing a virtual ceremony and a parade for students. The superintendent says they hope to host a small ceremony when the governor's order is lifted. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we bring you new information about the coronavirus and more in Indiana 24/7. You can read our latest stories and headlines at WTIUnews.org. Stay safe. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. MALLOR GRODNER Attorneys providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.